The year is 2564. We're in space, and we're going to be talking about commanding all of the wings, because we're talking about Wing Commander on Video Game Movie Anatomy. Stick with us.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movie. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Video Game Movie Anatomy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Video Game Movie Anatomy, where we're talking about Wing Commander from 1999. I want to realize the internet's Mark Donica. You can't stop me. I'm exhausted. You can follow me on Twitter at Mark Donica. We got the full squad in the house.
Yes.
Welcome back, everybody. We got Stacey Shuttleworth.
I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me online at Stacey Shuttles on Twitter or on Twitter and across the web at Nerds Doing Stuff.
Were you a nerd doing?
Doing
Sorry, I love the tagline.
You stealing my line?
Sorry, the space was there, and I was like,
ready. He's on
No,
it.
he was ready.
we have so little time to talk about Wing Commander, but it's that boy. It's Patrick Dees.
So shit, what up? I survived the Kilrathi War. My name is Patrick Dees. You can find me on Twitter at P to the D's, and I'm super excited to talk to you two about Wing Commander.
Oh, I
And
bet
about,
you
how
Excited's
much,
a word?
and about how much you liked it.
Oh, I loved it. This
Sure.
is one of those movies. It is a film.
It's one of those movies that's a movie.
Yeah.
Is this one of those this film movies?
film.
Yeah, it's one of those. So tonight we're talking about 1999's Wing Commander. The best description of the movie that I could find was from IMDb, which was Blair, a fighter pilot, joins an interstellar war to fight the evil Kilrathi who are trying to destroy the universe.
I watched that film.
Okay.
That
Was
sounded
not
all right.
this movie.
No.
This was
Are the Kilrathi in this movie?
very
I was on
briefly.
Twitter a lot as we were watching. I wasn't sure. Were they in this film?
If there was a green
know?
tint,
There they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
they were lost in it.
Fair enough.
They liked
yeah.
the green tint.
So, and did anybody play Wing Commander as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I did. I saw Wing Commander 3 was one of my. I started to cut you off. I was very excited about this.
Go.
Look, that was a film. That was a game that had like 2 hours worth of cutscenes in it. Like they made a Wing Commander 3. Mark Hamill's in it.
And same director.
Malcolm McDowell is in
Yes.
it.
Chris Roberts, who
Chris
directed
Roberts,
the games, is directed the movie.
And yeah, totally right. What's his name from Clue?
Tim Curry?
Tim
Yes.
Curry's in that game. Like
Clue is the thing you pulled. I,
I know.
love you.
I
Out of all of Tim Curry
Flames on the
references.
side of my face. Yeah, can we just do Clue? Clue is a game. Clue
Yeah,
is
Clue's a
Board game?
Clue is.
It is.
I know,
Dude,
look,
if-
I'm looking for whatever stretch. I need a better movie than
I'll
what we're
allow
watching.
it.
If we-
Yes!
Thank you, James.
We got
You're
Clue.
right.
If we have an April Fool's show, if we have a show on April 1st, then we'll do board game movie.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
It's
Yeah.
got to be Clue.
Perfect.
And it will be
I
Clue.
need better films than this. This is a movie that like I watched the other evening and it really had me question a lot of things. I really, really like you two to be able to sit through an hour and 47 minutes of this movie.
Did you just kind of sit there afterwards and go,
Just like, what about, yeah, no, I sat there with my head between my knees, just rethinking my life and choices that have gotten me to this point in life. But so I'm ready for our kind of bi-monthly therapy session.
here we go.
Stacey, what's your history with Wing Commander?
You know what? That was one of the games that we kind of had lying around more in the days, like when my dad would play the video games, or my sister and I would just kind of play around and not really pay attention to what we were playing. So we had it on one of the older systems.
Sure. Yeah,
And-
Did you play them?
I see.
But
The
only
thing
the
with
first one.
The thing with Wing Commander is I didn't know it was a game until I was like later on in years.
Sure, yeah.
I thought it was a movie.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, all those actors.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, how am I
Right.
not seeing this space movie on TV all the time?
Incredible cast.
Yeah.
Totally.
all over.
And continuing on in Star Citizen, but yeah, I never associated this with gaming until much later in life. So much like what Battlestar Galactica did for trying to recreate Star Wars on TV, Wing Commander did that with video games and kept the cinematic nature of it.
Yeah.
So I wish I had a history with this. So I was hoping that this would get me started on the road to Wing Commander. This would be the thing that would make me go, you know what?
I'm going to go back and play this.
I'm going to go back
Is
and play
it?
this. And you know what? It did, because I need some better memories.
All right. You gotta rewrite that one.
We'll do this one again. So here on Video Game Movie Anatomy, we have some games. We like to have some fun. We're going to get into talking about the movie, but we have a couple of games. Our first one is the Speedrun, which is actually, you should be surprised, we actually did speedruns last week.
It was very easy to be very speedy.
Oh, really?
Yes, about In the Name of the King, a
was.
Dungeon Siege Tale.
I need an editor.
Full.
No,
Yeah,
this-
you
this was
need to
different.
check.
I typically do. I spent way too long touching this one up, trying to keep it succinct. So
Which we appreciate.
Yeah.
But the speed run is like a definitive statement about the film, a quick review, like a box art blurb that you would see on the back over a picture. So like Mortal Kombat has a cheesy script, but it nails the spirit of the game. Who wants to go first with their speed run?
I'd like Stacey to go first.
Stacey.
Me to go first. All right. So I have so many extra leftover words from In the Name of the King, so I've used them all here.
Great.
Very good.
So
Great.
this one is less speedy than previous. This movie manages to be a fairly fun romp through space if you're not paying close attention. And definitely don't concern yourself with plot continuity or ever getting meaningful explanations for some seemingly very important world truths.
Okay, it's
pretty good.
So glad that's the consensus here. I'm gonna need you to talk me through some plot points as we go. Here.
Yeah. What about you, Patrick?
All right, I've got. This is a film based on a popular computer game and directed by its creator. Amazingly, Wing Commander feels like a procedurally generated script created by an AI instructed to combine elements of Star Wars, Star Trek, and Top Gun. All somehow missing what makes all of the aforementioned properties special and simultaneously having betrayed the magic and scope of its own source material.
That's like, regardless of speed, that was a very good review of what, like,
Yeah.
we
my
need to
back of
get
the box.
we need to get Rotten Tomatoes certified so that we can put that
Yes.
posthumously.
That's the one.
Just so
We're gonna go back through and submit all of those
great.
to Rotten Tomatoes.
Perfect.
And we're gonna have the fans decide which one from each show
I
gets
like it.
submitted.
I like it.
Perfect.
Why not? Mine is Wing Commander tries to be Space Crimson Tide with less than a quarter of the tension.
I kind of love Space Crimson Tide.
Well, no, it operates. The spaceships operate like submarines.
Sure.
They try to do silent running in the most, and some of the most dramatic and tense moments are like, everybody be quiet.
Right.
That's
So the asteroids won't hear you.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
you know.
They're gonna. They're nuking us. They're nuking everything, and we're just sitting
We're just going to be
ducks.
quiet. They won't find us. It's fine.
So another part of our show is the controller toss moment, and that is a moment, or several moments, when you're watching the film and you silently or loudly have a "you've got to be kidding me," and you Wing Commander your controller across the room. And unfortunately, now that controllers are all wireless, you can't just whip it right back. You have to
can't.
go and
Oh,
pick it up,
no.
making it even more frustrating. I have 4. How many?
You have,
my
you have
God.
four.
Actually, I can-
You
I
have
can-
4. What do you go? Can you start us off too?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, fine. I can
so.
start us off.
Please do.
I'll actually start off at the end of the movie.
Okay.
All right.
We have a couple of our rapier jets, because that's what it seemed like. We have a couple of our rapier ships trying to jump in and give all of the coordinates to the militia, whatever. And Angel falls back and tries to stop the bomb that's heading towards the freighter. Cool.
Right.
But she blasts it, blows it up, and as she's flying away, stays on the same plane as the explosion.
Oh,
Instead of
sure.
going, I can just go up. Like,
no, you
like
can't do that.
I'm just gonna like the first maneuver that you see her do, the Jack in the Box, is her going straight up.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So
She
that's
can
like,
do it.
oh, that
So
would have
you
been
know it's
Perfect.
possible.
You know
exactly
she can
like
do
that.
this.
Yeah, exactly. That what I thought we were gonna pay off from seeing that move
Sure,
not
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Like
That would
just
have been nice.
Angel Jack in the Box, which is like the weirdest thing, and then she's fine.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We're
Great.
good. Let's go jump.
Carry on. But we needed that traumatic tension.
We needed her lost in
that
space.
horrible. Yeah, I mean, we had to have our hero make the really tough choice.
And press his hand up against the glass.
Which they both knew to do.
don't.
Angel, you're
that was
all right.
mine.
You can't see in space.
That was yours.
That was one of mine. Yeah, it was when they both knew to put their hands against the glass.
Awful.
I'm going to
was
stay
beautiful.
with the theme of Angel being hurt and nearly dying. I'm going to go right to the very end of the film, in which he literally says, Freddie Prinze Jr. utters the words, "Don't die on me." She wakes up, I mean, ostensibly from dying. They make out.
Well, she cannot breathe.
Right, exactly.
She cannot breathe.
They make out, and the last lines after saving the entire, again, Earth from the Kilrathi, the last lines of this film are, well, we better get her to sickbay.
And
Slow
that's how
pan
it
out.
ends.
What?
Yeah, that
How
was
is that
the-
how's it like we just saved Earth from the Kilrathi and we're gonna end on better get her to sickbay?
And she's being wheeled away.
I
Yeah,
think
no,
that was
that's-
one of those shots that was like, we ran out of budget. Let's just
totally-
send it here. Where all you got to do, medal ceremony.
Yeah.
Simple.
Anything.
Yeah, you've already cribbed every other sci-fi trope. Let's
Right?
literally
Why
just crib
not?
that shot for shot. I don't understand.
Yeah, that was a horrible ending. Couldn't
Yes.
just sat there like, no, they're not going to credits right now. They are not going to go
that
to
was
credits
it.
right now. And then they went to credits.
Well, better get her to sickbay.
One of
Yes.
Essentially, one of the greatest final lines ever uttered in a film.
Oh no.
It felt very appropriate.
So oddly enough, so in the name of the king
Yes.
that we did last time, also featuring Matthew Lillard, also giving an amazing performance.
I really enjoy him more and more every week we watch a movie with him.
This was something.
Quite a talent.
He's a joy.
He got it seems like from the beginning to the end he slowly got more sober. From the beginning, like he was drunk at the beginning of the movie, and then was slowly like, oh crap,
I'm doing a job. I should.
Oh, this is a real movie. I really need to pay attention. So yeah, his performance, like of my favorite line was one of his from early on in the movie that was just like, I can't understand what you're saying. You're very drunk, and that's gonna have to wait.
He was a highlight of the movie for me. I think he really carried a lot of this film.
Runs away with it.
To be fair, he was like, what is he gonna say next?
I mean,
I have no idea.
He is Goose, right? I wanted any moment to break into "You lost that love feeling."
No, I wanted to get an indoor volleyball sequence.
Yes, playing with them boys.
Playing with the boys.
Yes.
Ass slap.
Yes.
Space ass slap.
Space.
Please explain what that would entail.
A space ass slap?
Yes. How
so
does
it'd be
that work?
it's 0G volleyball.
Oh,
so it's like.
So you just gotta float around and
then you get
shot.
moved because of the inertia.
Jack in the Box is also a play there too. Jack in the Box on 3.
Woo!
It's just straight up.
I'm on board. See, look at this.
Beautiful.
3 minutes into the show, we've already got more entertaining sections.
We need to, once we develop time travel, we need to send our tapes back in time to the writer's room and just be like, yo.
Yeah.
This is what you
we
need
need
to
space
do.
volleyball.
Slow-mo ass
Yes.
slap. We wasted the entire CG budget on that one Matrix shot. I feel like we could have
The
gotten...
jump? That was one of mine.
Just, watching Goose jump back and go, and then the entire budget. Entire budget.
Like instead of doing an external shot of them moving through space, they did an interior shot where everybody was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, it was really
Lazy.
with like over flash. It was just gorgeous. Just
Yeah. What other controller toss moments do you have? You said you started at the end.
Well, I did Lilith's performance, the jump, the jump camera move was one of mine. Angel with the whole missile, and the very beginning of the movie.
Thank you.
The guy at the control panel going, "Everything's all right. I'm just gonna go.
Take a leak.
Bye.
I'm gonna go somewhere. Not hey, watch this console. I'll be right back."
Yeah.
And just everything's fine. Nobody will notice. And of course, that's when the attack happens.
duh.
And he doesn't get chastised or anything.
No.
Like
It
even
wasn't
in
his fault,
Even in Avengers,
obviously.
we got that man is playing Galaga, like which was a joke, but it was still like we should have gotten something.
anything.
Great defense system is my point. They also, fun
Amazing.
fact, they flash on the screen. We've got a whole breach, and it's spelled BREECH.
Yep.
Just breach. They show the word like 5 times. I would have missed it if it was 3. Breach.
He just kept showing it.
Which is the wrong word.
And actually, I have a fifth that I remember.
Yes.
At the very end, when they lowered their shields to fire the missiles, and the guy goes, "Brace for impact!" The guy in the back did the reaction immediately.
Did you really?
Yeah, the guy on the barrel jumped forward and then jumped backward.
Oh, beautiful.
It was something.
That is
I don't know if it
gorgeous.
was beautiful, but it was something. Does anybody have any others?
So I have one that was just kind of a really weird decision, I feel. So with Rosie and her whole traumatic death. So this movie is just this low level intensity. All this stuff is happening that's supposed to be a really big deal. We're getting invaded. The Earth is going to be decimated in any time now. But there's no sense of urgency
Not
or
at
really
all.
intensity
No.
until you get to her death, and all of a sudden it is the most brutal couple of minutes, and you're just like, what the just happened?
Yeah.
You mean when with the whole gun scene when you're like, you're a traitor, or like
No,
with
when
Rosie.
when she actually dies.
So, you figure, all right, she's going to get hit by a stray asteroid and she's going to go down in flames and that's the end of it. But no, she gets onto the freaking landing dock and then, you just have to watch her get pushed. It was unnecessarily
Just the dump truck
brutal.
just slow-mo pushes her up.
Which was ridiculous in and of itself.
And it falls like there's gravity right below that. It's just yeah.
Further
Real good.
gravity.
Yeah.
All of it was just,
Yeah, that whole sequence was weird.
But it got unnecessarily intense, and then it just went right back down, and there was no Anything.
I kind of loved, right, though, and I keep conflating her with Dennis Rodman, so if I call Rosie Dennis Rodman several times, that's why. Right when because Matthew Lillard, he did whatever, like, essentially gets her killed.
Yeah. No, he's the direct cause to her death.
Screams, first of all, so many references to balls that entire time, but then screams, eject, Rosie, eject. Not in a pressurized suit. She would be ejecting into the vacuum of space.
No, we saw later with Angel, it ejects a pod.
The pod.
Yeah, so she would have been floating free, but it wouldn't. That's what I was like too. Is we didn't get an establishment that ejection is okay.
You are correct.
Right.
But I was thinking the same thing.
Later.
Well, at first I was
Yes,
like,
it was
she
later.
can't just eject.
Yeah,
She's in
totally.
space. And then they
That is
justify it
correct.
afterwards.
I was on Twitter at that point. Twitter.
Really quickly,
Twitter.
we have
Twitter for your
I usually will.
Okay.
in the chat we have somebody by the name of Roby asking something about a Scooby-Doo connection.
Oh,
To remind you of?
Yes, we rewrote the entire plot. This is going back in our time capsule, apparently. We have a whole new plot for, a whole new twist on the story.
Are we going to get to that at the end, or what do you want to talk about that?
We can discuss it now if you'd like.
Sure, because the leads of this movie
Are
are
basically Fred and
Freddie
Shaggy.
Oh, yeah.
and Shaggy
Yeah.
from the Scooby-Doo film.
I just would like to see them recreate the scene where he's about to get sucked out of the ship in every film that they do together.
Yes.
Can we just have that?
Yes.
They work that into the next Scooby-Doo. I would like to see it.
I think so. I think that would be great. Our plot kind of tied in with that. So
What happens?
basically, we decided that they were Fred and Shaggy, and they are now immortal in the year
64.
64.
It makes sense.
And so now they have moved on to being pilots.
And
in
international
the
monster
space.
hunters.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Karathi, the ultimate monster.
Yeah. They got to go
Tiger
after
Claw,
the ghost,
codename
you know.
Mystery Machine.
We just think it would just make for a much better story.
Just for subplot.
I'm into it.
Just for
I'm into
Yeah.
it. It would
Yeah,
explain that bromance
And
a
our
little bit more.
paladin would be replaced by Velma because
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I think
I
that makes
liked
sense.
him a lot.
I did too. But in our story, Velma is
Sure.
is paladin.
Tchéky Karyo. I can't pronounce it, unfortunately, but a wonderful French actor. Speaking of our cast, let's get to them. Freddie Prinze Jr. was our lead as Lieutenant Christopher Blair, Saffron Burrows as Lieutenant Commander Angel Devereaux, Matthew Lillard as Todd Maniac Marshall, Tchéky Karyo as Commodore James Paladin Taggart, Jürgen Prochnow as Commander Paul Gerard, David Suchet as Captain Jason Sansky, David Warner as Admiral Jeffrey Tolwyn, who I really liked. I always love when David Warner is in stuff.
Sure.
Of course, we talked about Tron a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Always a big fan. Who was your favorite member of the cast and / character?
I mean Lillard, right? Like
He was.
The only thing even remotely watchable in this
I disagree.
film.
I really liked Taggart.
I think Taggart was great. I think he did a good job. And you know what? Normally, back in the day, I was a huge Freddie Prinze Jr. fan. He was my favorite.
Do you not watch Rebels? Star Wars Rebels?
I
'Cause
have it.
he's the lead on
I have
that.
the DVDs. I have not started yet.
You should.
But yes, I know he's
is
the lead. I'm ready.
great. And
excited.
he's a completely different type of actor when he's Kanan as opposed to Christopher Blair.
Oh,
the
yeah,
best
this
character in this
was-
Dragon Age, like his voice acting career, like he
He's
does.
great,
His voice
yeah.
acting career
Yeah,
is
pretty
pretty
great.
He's unbelievable. He's just completely unwatchable in this film.
Did anybody notice
sad.
that he had a poster of Sarah Michelle Gellar up in his quarters?
Did not.
Yeah.
That's real
Which is
good.
It's
really
That's
fun.
real good.
fantastic.
That's real good.
Yeah.
I would have liked this so much more. It's like that's the kind of personality that this movie's missing the entire time.
Yeah.
The
everywhere
tongue-in-cheek
else.
stuff wasn't there.
no.
The one thing that I did like about it that I will say is, and I pulled it as one of our reviews, is that it just goes. It just happens. It doesn't stop and say, well, let me explain to you exactly everything that happened. It said, grab on. We'll tell you what you need to know. If you don't, these
some
guys are
point-
bad.
We won't.
Yeah.
Or
we won't.
We'll
seemingly.
kind of try to, but not actually tell you anything.
I think this Roberts made this seemingly with the intention to break. He made it like he did the Wing Commander games, where he didn't have gameplay to break it up. Like there was like, oh, I'll just write it like I read everything else, but there weren't the moments where you got explained more, where you as the player or as the viewer got a chance to take in the information that you needed in order to survive.
No, it moves.
Plot-wise.
It's weirdly paced too. Like Lillard and Dennis Rodman fall in love faster than like the script can deliver that exposition.
It takes
They're-
about 5 hours at tops.
I mean, they are in love.
Oh, and it's like this be-all, end-all, consuming love. Like you'd think that they had been together for years.
It's like, no, it just seemed like a one night or like just a friends with benefits. Hey, we're at war. Let's bone, sort of a thing.
Oh, so I did not think so.
I mean, I think
Well, no,
it was, I think
until
it
the
was
scene.
way more intense than that.
Well,
yeah.
no, once we got to the scene,
then
that's
you're
when I was
like,
like, I
hold
guess
on.
this is...
That's what I'm saying. They fell in love with fashion. And the script can even tell you.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. It's
That's
tough.
pretty tough. I liked Jürgen Prochnow, but he was just like, I think things are bad because they're bad. Follow
He
my orders.
Didn't
That
have
was
much
it.
to work with.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I totally agree. Yeah, the cast was fine. I did like how diverse it was. Like it felt like Star Trek to the point where we had different cultures,
100%.
different
Yeah.
voices,
Yep.
different accents, different colors, different
Yep.
creeds, everything.
I like that too, and I
That's
actually
cool.
even really like the scene where she was talking about the first time that they're showing off a little bit, right? And Lillard and Dennis Rodman are like, they get in trouble for, she gets in trouble for reprimanded for, and she brings whiskey to what's her name?
Yeah.
Angel.
Yeah. And they're having that whole dialogue about how it felt like it was like almost written for men in a locker room, right? Like men chasing women, right?
Yeah.
But she's like, look, I was showing off because like I'm really into this dude, and she's like, it's better than sex with myself. Like it felt like, again, normally that would just be written for some dudes and it would be kind of trash talk, but it seemed a little bit more like, yeah,
It
empowered
was like
women.
they had this kind of camaraderie.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
of the dialogue was future proof.
Yes,
I think
yes.
they made it. They really did make it for everybody, and I think the only detriment to that is they didn't. There was no development of the romance between Angel and Blair.
Just all of a sudden they were in love.
Yeah, just all of a sudden it was like just kind of like Rosie Rodman and Lillard.
I mean, but I would get that as like a friends with benefit. You find someone to, when you're stuck up on this station forever, that's where you are.
But there was no romantic tension behind it.
No.
Like, and I don't even think, or anything even nodded to it, right? Like, I didn't understand that was going to be a thing, and like, literally until 30 seconds before the end.
Yeah, and
not at
to
all.
the literal end of the movie. Great cast. They didn't get a lot to work with, but some of the stuff I really liked. The Obi-Wan-ish nature of Paladin too. He was just like he knows more than he's letting on, and then once that's revealed. Okay, everybody, it was like just whipping the ring out, and everyone, no, we have to listen to him right away, which is a total BA moment. Super badass. Like, hey, don't worry.
yeah?
Why are we listening to this guy? It's just some ring. This has been in his family for 19 generations. Like, okay,
The
all right.
utmost
Sorry.
confident. Yeah.
Okay.
That was great.
Bro, chill. So the basic, as much of the plot as can be surmised, the Kilrathi stole a Navcom computer to find the coordinates to jump to Earth.
That was a computer?
That was a computer.
That was a computer.
Okay, I was sure it was a car battery. I'm
That's
glad.
what it
Thank
looked
you.
like.
I'm
What it
so
looks
glad
like.
you cleared that up for me again.
But it is
plot details.
It is their computer. It's their
Navcom, presumably short for navigation computer. Very good name.
Sure.
Made it
Amazing.
easier to follow. So that they would jump to
Apparently
Earth's
not.
space and invade. So it was sort of like this dark mission to like not engage. We just need to find it and stop them and make sure nobody makes it.
Because the Navcom had the coordinates to Earth.
Yeah.
So
They were
so
galaxies
Kilrathi
away.
didn't know where Earth was.
No, they were galaxies away. But
Okay.
but they've been fighting this presumably they've been fighting this conflict for years.
Sure.
And they're like, if we only knew where their home planet was, then we'd get them. I don't know. But yeah. So that was what they considered the plot. And it was very not actiony. It just happened.
Yeah.
The promise of space battles was not fulfilled.
No.
really.
No, this is the same, like, right about the time that episode 1 came out, right? That had amazing space battles. And this is a franchise based around space battles. Wing Commander is a space flight sim, right? Like, everything else is just, like, window dressing around shoot shit in space. And they don't do that at all.
A little bit.
I mean,
A very little bit.
I mean, they did the Jack in the Box maneuver.
Jack in the box.
Yeah.
Hey, you're Jack in the box. That's
Spike.
That's what I say to my wife when I'm really drunk on a Saturday. Angel, Jack in the Box, and then she takes me to Jack in the Box.
Perfect.
I get 2 tacos. I need 10 tacos now. Angel, Jack in the Box. She's gonna hate that I
Yeah,
said that.
please let
That's
me
not
know
true
how that
whatsoever.
works out
Yeah.
with you. If you actually do that to
We'll
her.
also get.
But
She'll be like, I appreciate the Angel thing. I ain't driving your ass to Jack in the Box.
I tell you what, you Periscope that, I'll watch it.
Oh yeah, no, I
I'll
want
live
to see that
stream it.
happen.
Guys, watch as I yell Angel Jack in the Box.
I
and
can
see
at
what
12
happens.
o'clock in our apartment complex. We would get thrown out. Oh God, too many stories to tell. Let's get back to the most interesting movie in the world, Wing Commander.
Get
So
diverted.
it was the
Fucking
plot
fine.
was we have to stop the Kilrathi from getting to Earth
Sure.
by any means
Yeah.
necessary, except not any means necessary. We have to stay quiet and not get in any ships as much as possible. But we have a freighter full of fighter pilots that we don't want a fighter pilot.
No, why would you?
No.
So bizarre.
No, why would you? Now walk me through this fuel cell part. I was joking about not following a lot of the plot points. I legit couldn't figure out why all of a sudden they needed fuel.
The bombing sort of killed, like they had a leak that they plugged up, and then they went, crap, we don't have any fuel anymore. All
of a sudden they're like strapped in like the armor and they're getting on the ship and they're going for the fuel and I'm like, wait, what?
Okay, I completely missed that too.
Really?
So now, yes,
I feel better about that.
What are they doing?
Well,
now?
I think they needed it wasn't direct, but when they got the reading from the computer that said 10% this, 20% this, life support critical in 5 hours, they were like, oh, we need gas.
Yeah, I
because
totally
apparently
missed that.
the fuel cells again, it was something where it's like, oh, that must mean that they need the fuel cells for this. They don't directly tell you. It's just like, oh,
you
they must
made
need
the
that
jump.
for the life support. All right, sure.
I mean, you can kind of piece it together later, but they literally just kind of jump cut to them in like full
Yeah.
armor. You know, Wing Commander, that story about Marines shooting Kilrathi like on like in a corridor.
And then
you know?
with
I didn't make that
Prochnow
jump
just
at
being
the
like, you may be willing to run this ship, but
Yes.
I'm going down with my crew. And it's like,
Yeah.
you just became captain. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Whatever, Commander.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, I got lost.
But it was a
more
really
on
good
than I thought, I
excuse
guess.
to show the Kilrathi, right? Like I was glad that we what a great.
Were you
what
glad?
I mean,
I almost would have preferred them to be this unseen like force.
are you familiar with
Because
what they
that's
look?
what I thought. I know they look very different. I'm not
They're
very familiar
furrier.
with what they.
Yeah,
yes.
they're big like house cats,
Yeah.
and kind of
Right.
kind of great, you know, and like
Well, they were not that.
and kind of great, and they no, this is not
So exciting with all of the reference for the originals.
Yeah, I was
It was
like,
kind of great.
I mean, you know, but I'm not even this like Wing Commander purist. I would have taken anything. Like if they were awesome. Like again, they show them. They look like really cheap like puppets that are weirdly like don't fit in the corridors of their own
So
ship.
Yeah.
there is, I guess, a story behind that.
Oh, please,
They
enlighten
built
me.
them. I guess they built the puppets according to the internet. So
Oh, okay,
with
okay.
a grain of salt, but they built the puppets before they built the set, and so they had to hunch them over.
Seems
weirdly.
right because they don't look like they fit in their
So-
own ship.
That means that the costume department didn't talk to the set department.
No.
Then the set department wasn't even like, hey, how tall are these space cats? Whatever,
Yeah.
let's just make it human
They're
height.
just- Dude, and then
Apparently.
he whips out the claws that they do nothing with because
Nope.
he's then
no,
mowed
they-
down.
Yeah. And they go down.
Really,
They're
really
wearing-
wanted to get that effect in there.
Also,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, totally. Yeah,
took
just that
over.
stiff.
it's over 500 years from now, but we're still using like regular machine gun bullets.
Oh yeah.
Regular machine gun bullets, and like, why is every computer in the show like super loud? Like, like even now, like I get upset if my Xbox makes an A noise. Like every computer in this
Something's
movie's
wrong.
like, so.
Especially when they're like, all right, everybody quiet, like silent running. Sorry to our audio listeners.
I really wanted to see someone shush the computer.
Yeah,
That would have been
what are you
great.
doing? Shut your dumb mouth.
Shut your computer mouth.
Asteroids.
We're in an asteroid belt.
Asteroids gonna eat your house.
Yeah, so they made a lot of jumps to conclusions. Take that how you will,
Yeah,
as a
I
pun or
will.
not. But the
terrible
so
idea.
what? But what I agree with Stacey though that when they were first kind of not showing the Kilrathi, that they kept them in darkness. I was like, cool. There's either going to be a badass reveal or it just makes them this mysterious.
I agree.
Right,
Really-
I was in for
Really
that.
cool
Yeah.
enemy.
And like really formidable and actually kind of scary, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
absolutely, but they don't do anything to even illustrate like their military might. They just show that really terrible bombing run at the beginning because that guy drank too much coffee and had to go take a leak. Like
I'm gonna go pee.
I know.
But don't tell anyone.
Real,
just,
real good
just
job.
Go.
Real good job there.
Easy, Dave. Cover for me.
I did.
No,
I'll be back in 2,
no.
Dave.
Dave, back
Dave.
in 1. Watch my computer. Like even when it was beeping.
Dave, put down Pokemon. I just need to go pee. Just
Yeah.
2 minutes, Dave.
There are Pokemon in deep space anyways. Give it up already.
He was trying to find a Golurk or Deoxys. Thank you very much. But even while it was beeping, Dave wasn't like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like that whole scene doesn't make any sense.
Dave is just didn't care. Like, look, not my job. He's always gotten a problem.
Not my
with
job,
authority.
not my problem.
Nope.
So another big thing that happened, or presumably big.
Yeah.
The only other big plot point is that pilgrims are discriminated against because they were the original space travelers.
Okay, when they first brought up this thing about pilgrims, I was
that.
like, oh, this is gonna be really cool.
Sure.
We're gonna get some crazy like twists, some really cool information. There's gonna be like this infrastructure that they're gonna go into, and we got about like 3 lines on it later in the movie, and that was
And
it.
then Taggart was the one like, here, if you need luck, use mine.
Right, and I mean, I kind of expected that to happen, but I figured there'd be like more meaning to it or something, and there was just
No, they wasted all their money on the Matrix
It's
effect.
weird, and then they don't pay it off at the end, right? Like at the end, instead of going, well, better get her to the infirmary or sick bay. Like I felt like normally in most movies, even when there's like a thinly veiled, whatever, a racism parallel, you would have the racist white cop say to the black cop, "You're okay in my book," or something. Just pay off the pilgrim thing. Anything.
Nothing.
But nothing.
And even if there was some sort of an effect to illustrate that he was tapping into his DNA, like it's something you're born with, you know. It wasn't something that you learn, it wasn't something that you believe in, it's something you're born with, it's in your genes, it's in your DNA. What if we saw the process? We saw and he saw all the different wavelengths.
Yes.
No, he just did the jump.
Quasar.
That's
And
it.
that was another thing, is they devalued his
happened.
worth by having the Kilrathi like, just follow him.
oh yeah, and they follow him like it's nothing.
100%. Totally.
It's really bizarre. Really bizarre.
And I felt like a stretch. I don't know, maybe just me, but like I felt like, okay, so maybe there's a distinction between pilgrims and normal humans, sure. But don't you think they might put aside those differences if giant space cats are threatening to end all of us?
Yeah.
Who
Right?
can't tell
I mean,
the difference?
Well, that's what kind of made me wait for some kind of twist where like, the pilgrims went over
Yes,
to the Kilrathi. They're
travelers.
helping the Kilrathi, and you're going to have this big confrontation about it.
Sure.
And I was like, all right, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
No.
Or the pilgrims
We
show
just
up
got
like
green
Littlefinger
flashes.
at the Battle of the
Right? Like,
Bastards.
anything.
And just like, come out of nowhere and it's like the Pilgrim Cavalry's here. Nope.
There was one line that alluded to a turncoat pilgrim, and that was all that we got for backstory as to why every pilgrim cannot be
Oh
trusted.
yeah, but they were all bad.
Yeah, every single one of them's bad just because one guy was kind of a jerk.
And it parallels like this unsympathetic like depiction of the Kilrathi too, right? That there's this whole, but again, they don't pay that off like at all. They just
And you don't
they're
get
just
any
there.
you don't get any characterization of the Kilrathi whatsoever other than scary.
yeah.
One of them has a claw. Do all of them have a claw? Not enough time.
Who knows? Wherever they go, there's fog and green lighting. That was
they're
one thing I took away.
They walk like the Goombas in the Super Mario
They
movie. with
totally
just
do.
huge shoulders and they're
Very
all just
uncomfortable in
kind of
their
waving
own
back and
bodies.
forth.
Just
Yeah.
all kind of tipping over when you knock them ice.
Yeah, that's one that I
very
definitely.
top heavy.
I think we should revisit Super Mario because
I'm
that
on
was
board.
different era of the show,
Yes.
and now we have the games and stuff to add to it. So
Let's do that again.
Let's do
Down.
it.
I need an excuse to watch
I'm
that
ready
Fever
for
Dream
that.
again.
Do you?
I do.
Well, then why don't you watch Need for Speed again if you want to talk about a fever dream.
I will.
You know how you get rid of giant space cats? Biker mice from Mars.
Yes. Good, Paul.
Well done.
Love that cartoon.
Well done.
Love that cartoon. So let's talk a little bit about the director, Chris Roberts. He was the man behind Wing Commander back in 1999, of which it was highly acclaimed. He wasn't as hugely involved in Wing Commander 2, but he was a producer in that. He did a lot. He was behind a lot of the Wing Commander franchise. Once that franchise sort of dried up, unfortunately, his most recent work has been with Star Citizen, which has, I think it holds the record of the highest grossing, of the highest grossing game crowdfunded campaign.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's got to be close. I mean,
Yeah,
it's they're
'cause
north
I
of
think it is
$120
still.
million. Right?
As of August 2016, they have raised over $118 million.
Yeah, I mean, they are
Unbelievable.
totally.
He even said if they made at least 23, he had stated that if at least 23 million could be raised over the course of the crowdfunding campaign, no outside investors or developers funding would be required, and it was reached in October 18th, 2013. They're still developing the game,
Yes.
but they keep adding more and more to it.
Have you seen the Gamescom demo?
Yes,
It
yes, I have.
looked incredible what they're doing. So I was very skeptical that this game was ever going to come out. To me, it was vaporware, and Chris Roberts was going to take off and be like, peace.
I would
You get
blame
that
him.
much
Yeah,
money
no.
just floating around, yeah.
I mean, totally. And like you hear crazy stories about how that's being developed globally, and anyway, They just had an amazing build at Gamescom. It looked like the No Man's Sky that everybody was actually hoping for.
Which this has become the new hope for the non-believers of the No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
But he
And Chris, we trust.
in just working on games, it was like, you know what? Let's give a shot on the movies. I made all the games. I think I'm the best person to do it. Do you think he should have handed it off to maybe a more experienced director?
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it would be different if you were like really faithful to his own intellectual property. They changed the Kilrathi design. I mean, like Mark Hamill was, I'm spacing his name here. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah,
Good
was
old
Blair.
FPJ. Right. Like, I mean, again, really capable. They just moved away from all of that wholesale,
They
right?
changed it to try to be palatable to Hollywood.
I mean, totally. And I
Right.
think like if it were a closer parallel to this world, this universe that he'd already established. I mean, even the ship designs are very diametrically different. So like I think that he might have made more sense, or he could have consulted closely. But yeah, I mean, come on, this was
Right.
like there was very little redeemable about this film, and most of it was on the direction.
There wasn't enough that he hung on to from the original franchise to fight for.
Totally.
So why should he be on the front lines?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, be a technical consultant, right?
It's something. Yeah.
Might as well.
If you know what he really should have been? He should have been the liaison between set designers and puppet designers. If he could have just built that role,
Exactly.
it's all we need, Chris. It's
So
all we
much
need,
better.
Chris.
Maybe would have had more on the Kilrathi ship.
It makes me wonder if this movie ever came up in crowdfunding. Like I was gonna go ahead and put some money towards Star Citizen, but then I rewatched this movie and like I'm not gonna give that
I
man
don't know
money.
if I can do that.
I don't feel good about this.
Look at what happened the last time he was given creative freedom.
Yes.
Look at how much that changed. As you mentioned, there was all of the production problems that happened with the movie. Mentioning that the sets were built differently
fascinating.
from the Kilrathi.
Fascinating.
A lot of the fans didn't like how stuff looked. It didn't look like the game that they grew up playing.
No, sure.
But what was kind of something that kind of brought it full circle is the last game in the Wing Commander series, Wing Commander Arena, made references to the movie, including the Pilgrim War.
It did.
And used ships and settings that first appeared from
Interesting.
the movie. So they brought it back around
Good for them.
to try to have it make sense.
Sure.
Okay, so you retroactively
Yeah.
try to fix.
We're just retconning
Did?
it.
I
They just
mean-
show Freddie Prinze Jr. dying in a fireball in the first like 4 minutes of the game. Be like, well,
You know what?
Let's try that again.
If he was given the job, I'm sure he'd be like, sure, why not? I want Star Wars. I don't need this weighing me down. Let's kill my character
I'll
off.
do it.
Which is weird how he's in Star Wars as a Jedi, but replaced Mark Hamill
oh, no
as
kidding.
who was a Jedi. It's that
Oh,
weird circular
wow.
thing.
That is. Huh.
Like how
Wow.
Bill Murray played Peter Venkman in the movies. Then the voice of Peter Venkman in the cartoons was also the voice of Garfield, and then Bill Murray played Garfield in the live action movies. Like weird sort of
Wow.
circular.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
you run in the same circles sometimes. That same kind of voice.
Look, if you'd offered, how old was Freddie Prinze Jr. when this movie came out? 21, 22?
Maybe a little later.
You offered
in the early 20s.
early
range,
20s
though.
me an opportunity to star, like script unseen. They're like, do you want to be in Wing Commander? Yes. Like, yeah, like I can't fault them for taking this, or Matthew.
Oh, no.
Like, you have to believe that to some degree these guys know what they're talking about, and I'm sure it was a train wreck to them, right? They must have been surprised. Oh, like this is real bad set design. Those puppets don't look good in here, but I'm sure it'll look great in post. I'm sure
That-
they went
I
and
think
saw
that-
it and just
They'll
went.
fix it.
What
I
did
don't know,
we- what did
dude.
we
Like
do?
this was kind of the new hotness back in 1999. But I think once The Matrix came out, everybody went, "Oh, movies are different now.
Right.
Movies are completely
But like
different."
episode 1 too was that same year, right? Or
Year
shortly after
after?
the
It
year.
was
a year.
shortly
But the
after.
trailer for episode 1 was at Wing Commander,
Yes.
correct? So that's what I remember about this film, was that people literally would go see that trailer over and over again and then leave the film.
Yeah. Because it was
Go
20th,
for the
20th
trailer.
Century Fox. Yeah,
Yes.
it would have paired with it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good pairing.
Wow. So let's talk about
so pained by that.
I mean,
Let's-
you watch that Star Wars trailer and then you go through Wing Commander. I don't blame the people.
No,
who
I mean,
are walking
totally.
out.
Like, imagine the volume
No,
just
man.
getting turned
Phantom
down.
Menace. That's the one we're all gonna love.
Yeah, we're just going to die on that hill. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's get to critical reception just because
Yes.
we're running a little low on time and I want to get to our fun stuff at the end.
Let's do it.
Alright.
This film released 1999. It had a $30 million budget. Can you tell? And it made $11.5 million domestically. Didn't even release internationally.
Okay.
Which probably could have saved it a little bit. And it might be there might be an ongoing Wing Commander franchise starring Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard and Rosie Rodman. The
I might
IMDb
watch
score.
that. Carrying forth.
What, Rosie
Rosie
Rodman?
Rodman. Got, yep.
IMDb
Crushed
scores
it.
it at a 4.1 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes has it as a 10% critic score and a 24% audience score, following the trend, albeit low, that the audience likes it more than the critics do.
Slightly.
So the review that I was mentioning earlier in the show comes from Dak from culturevulture.net,
All
not
right.
.com,
.net,
.net.
yep.
I liked the unpretentiousness of it all.
Oh,
Well,
Just left it all out there.
that was the entire review.
That was the
just
entire
one
review.
line.
I like the unpretentiously of it all.
I mean, yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
You know?
Instead of getting...
I will give him that. It is not a pretentious film.
No.
But
it has nothing to be pretentious about. I mean,
we didn't have the gateway character that everybody could explain stuff to that we identify as. We didn't have the Luke character or any the Star-Lord or whatever to let's explain everything to you because you don't know what's going on.
Sure.
So, Robert Roten from the Laramie Movie Scoop says it's a fairly shallow action movie, and it delivers on that level with plenty of action, engaging characters, competent acting, good pacing, good special effects, and a solid plot. I don't know what movie they watched.
yeah, I
I'm
don't.
not
I'm
sure
so
about that plot
confused.
thing.
There's not. That was
No.
also on the internet.
I
You
should've
said
just-
the internet's always saying the truth.
Oh, yeah, the internet 100% of the time. The
Here, let me
internet
change
tells
it.
the truth.
Yeah.
Let me do a
Absolutely.
Yeah,
quick
could you a quick edit?
let's do a quick edit.
little rewrite.
It was a fairly shallow action movie.
There you go.
Period.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert
This-
Roten
such an
from...
editor.
Yeah, it's me. I do wet my pen a little bit. Final one from Wesley Morris from the San Francisco Examiner. Wing Commander looks like it was put together by people who couldn't agree on whether or not the year 2564 would be colored with red bulbs and fluorescent cafeteria lights or costumed as if Urban Outfitters had gone to Uranus. And this is another
Yes.
thing where the lighting crew didn't talk to the costume crew and nothing sort of worked. Like you can't put Christmas complementary colors as I mean, I know the red uniforms are important, but you can't light
they?
the Kilrathi. You can't light the Kilrathi
You would have given
ship.
those up.
You can't
They
light the
give up a lot of
Kilrathi
other
ship
things.
with green. Green and red are complementary colors, and they're supposed to look good against each other.
Sure.
But that was not a good look.
I mean, like, yeah, but who wears red battle fatigues? Like, hey, I'm right here. Like, hey, right here, shoot me. Right
Essentially.
here. I want
I want to
know that's
stand
the
out.
last on the.
Well,
Yeah,
no, but still, I want to stand out on this alien ship where we're enemies.
totally.
Yeah.
Let's wear red.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's totally nail it.
They wanted them to know they were there, right?
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
We want it to be a party. Hey, where are your fuel cells at?
We need some.
Borrow
FPJ
a
just
couple
like
fuel
and
cells?
he just meanders toward that car battery, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
Like
not
it's
like he's
nothing.
just like by himself. Just
And it's apparently he just gets the call where it's like, hey, Blair, we have a reading over here. Go there. And nobody else is like, hey, what are you doing?
where are you
No, just
going?
him.
And then they happen upon him, and he's like, oh, don't worry, we're good.
Yeah.
Go continue.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Do what you were gonna do before we interrupted you.
No,
I'm
like
so sorry.
palpable sense of relief either. It's like we have that thing
No,
that
it's
we've
like,
been
all right,
needing.
let's move out.
That car battery.
Cool.
Got
I
it.
can't get over the prop department.
Let's
either.
go.
Yeah.
Nobody
Go.
talked to each other.
No.
That
No.
was the problem. Well, as opposed to having a director that's supposed to facilitate communication between all areas of production.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's what they do.
That's what directors are supposed to do. All right, let's go to some
Technically
more
speaking.
fun games to round out the show. Let's talk about our favorite lines, whether they're legitimate or really silly. Everybody has a favorite line from this movie. At least one. I have just one, because I went back and I was trying to pay attention.
Yeah.
Let's see if any of this dialogue is good.
Okay.
Nope.
Nope. There's nothing notable.
There is one notable line to me.
Okay.
But go ahead.
I've got just one exchange. I'll
Okay.
go first. This is Rosie Rodman, Rosie Forbes, and Maniac going back and forth the very first time they meet. She says, "You've got balls." He says, "You should see them." Her reply is, "Mine are bigger." I've been told size doesn't matter, Maniac says, and Rosie ends with, "She lied."
That was
Thank
a good
you,
one.
Rosie.
Ball.
Thank you, Rosie.
That was a
Well
good
done.
one.
I
Rosie.
appreciate it.
But also-
put him in his
Girl.
place.
Does
Drunk Maniac.
ball size matter?
I was confused by that too, but I felt like it was my one ray of like dialogue.
It's like they
hope
tried.
here. Yeah, they did, right?
Tried.
Like, hey, this is approximating banter. A lot of sexual tension there. She lied.
That is a great. Hey, this is approximating banter.
Yeah,
That probably popped up in the writers' room.
Just like
Apologies
Yeah, sure.
to any writers who were in that writers' room. Stacey, what do you have for a good line?
So mine's actually kind of a serious one. It was like one little thing that I liked about the movie.
Yeah.
like that I actually thought had some potential, aside from the Pilgrim thing that went horribly awry, was when Matthew Lillard is our horribly injured, and then it gets very unclear whether or not he's gonna die. But he goes, so Freddie Prinze Jr. makes reference to like how Rosie's no one, you know, because they had the whole thing when someone dies, you're no one. Which coping mechanism. I get it.
Never existed.
And he goes, "Don't you ever play that stupid game with me?" And I don't know. I thought that was an interesting, like, all right, that's nice, but
what was weird about
it was weirdly.
What was super weird
delivered,
is he was like, you know what the girl I want to be my girlfriend says? It's that those people never exist. Don't you do that shit with me? And he's like, all right, I'm gonna go tell my girlfriend that I'm not gonna play that game anymore.
Oh, and he does. He just
I'm gonna see what happens.
Yeah, but like,
It
don't
was
you
so
feel like
weird.
it was insinuating that he's gonna die? Don't play that game with me because I'm dead as shit.
That's what I assumed at the time.
Totally.
It was like okay. It felt more like he was telling Freddie Prinze Jr., you know, don't pretend that I don't exist.
I don't
die.
exist. Don't
Because
play
I
it
was like,
with
all
me.
right, he's dying right
Totally,
now.
he's so dead.
He's dead.
He's so not dead.
And then it just cuts away.
He's definitely not dead. He's pretty fine. And actually, when you said
Totally fine.
serious line, my favorite. I know it's not your. I don't think this is the one you have.
Find it hard to believe if you could
All right.
nail mine down.
I would be. This isn't my. I think like you didn't. I'd totally forgotten it until you said, "Hey, serious," because when FPJ is about to get sucked out of the hull of the ship and he's holding on for dear life and he's just like holding on with all his strength and fingertips, Matthew Lillard looks over and goes, "You're just gonna stand there and watch him die," which is exactly what you're doing.
While
Which
he
is
was
exactly
standing there.
takes the time to.
Now I've got to do something.
To pivot. You're just gonna stand there and it's
Beautiful.
unbelievable.
And I think at that point he was actually closer.
Yeah, right. Like,
And how is
just
like he's like feet away, and everybody's just standing there like, yeah, what up?
which is exactly what
He's
Lillard
going
is
to
doing.
Well, no,
Yeah.
but he's like getting sucked out of an air vent, and they're standing
I know.
with
Fine.
no like,
Totally.
the
Nothing.
current. God,
I know,
So,
I know.
so Matthew Lillard
okay.
Yes.
suffers internal and external injuries from
Yes.
the steel cable
Yes.
that he wrapped around himself. No, we're gonna compromise your physical nature by putting you back in a ship where you're gonna experience intense pressure.
Yes.
Oh,
To
he
your-
just
to
he
your
just had a little
inner-
tiny bandage.
Oh,
He
it's-
was fine.
It was an anime injury. They just put bandages on it and he was fine. Could have been eviscerated. It's like, no, cut your arm off, wrap some bandage around it, you'll be fine.
Who knows? Maybe in the future they have magical healing band-aids.
About the tank. Why don't we're
Insta
ripping everything else
healing.
off? Why don't we just rip off more Star Wars?
Yeah, why not? Back to tank.
Sure.
We'll say back to
Yeah.
the-
Yeah.
So my favorite line was directly related to. It was the second that I wrote down. Matthew Lillard is going to be a delight in this movie.
he was too.
You know what I?
National treasure.
Here's my line.
No more booze for this man.
Here's my line. You know what I see? Blondes. Like he doesn't even say blondes.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
he
no,
doesn't.
He says blondes.
Okay.
I had to think about it for a minute. I was like, oh, there's a blonde in the
Oh,
background. Is that
Rosie's
what
blonde.
he's saying?
Oh, Rosie Rodman's blonde.
Also, that was the best take
You know what I see?
That was
that
the
they
one they
could
decided
get. That's
on.
what they
That
landed
was
on.
it.
Imagine his other drunken takes, Mark.
Blondes.
No more booze for that man.
You know what I see? Blondes.
Or more, because it made for a good
I
time.
will give you that, right? Like,
Yeah, I see
give him,
blondes.
give him the keys to that ship. Give him a rapier. He's just dangling the keys. I'm fine. I'm fine. I can pilot. I can jack in the box all day.
You know what I
I
want?
can jack the box on 3.
You know what I blondes? Damn it. You know what I blondes? Damn it. Yeah, blondes.
Shut
Blondes.
again.
Like
Cut, print.
like I wrote it BLONZZ. Blondes.
Never mind, guys. We're moving on.
You know, I see blondes. Like that was a pickup,
Well-
and they messed it up.
And how did it still make it in the movie? That's something that you could cut.
It was like the
so
ending. They ran out of
easily.
money. They ran out of
They
money.
could have just cut it. I mean, you just delete that little tiny bit of footage. It would have been so easy. But
Well, get that girl to sick bay.
Get that blondes to sick bay. Let's get that blondes.
Just give that man some keys or a rapier and see what happens.
Yeah. He's a You're
I
a
watched that
maniac.
movie.
Maniac.
You're a maniac.
I'm fine to drive. There are space Ubers around here.
I'm gonna
Is there
do-
space Uber.
I'm gonna do 360. Watch. I'm gonna put
It's not a 360.
tons of lives in danger.
This is a 540.
As a are you trying to impress me? Like I wanna go back and
Carry the one.
I wanna take his dialogue and slow it down.
fucking slurring.
I wanna take his dialogue and slow it down so it sounds like don't pull that shit game with me. Blunts? Anybody have any other favorite lines?
You should.
Because we
covered a couple of the good
ringed that
ones.
bit out.
Yeah, we
see
did.
him.
See you,
You should
Blunts.
see my balls. you should.
Don't
want to see
they
him?
say
Seriously.
sized in minutes?
This is the movie I would watch.
Totally.
Like,
Yes.
As a
sign
matter
me
of
up.
fact, the whole cast.
Just let him take on the coat by himself. Just give him the keys or a rapier and go.
Just go.
Just get.
I'm
Tell him to
gonna
make that
kill-
jump.
Yes.
Oh, it'll be great.
Oh yeah, he can do that. He can totally make that jump.
could?
Yeah, faster than FPJ.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull a kill in karate. I'm gonna kill him.
He'd go take out all of them in 10 seconds flat.
No, he'd be like,
He's on that
himself.
10 key. Just you're like when Freddie Prinze Jr. does that thing. Maniac's just
punch
like
in your code.
just 1 1 1 1.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
just-
1 1 1
got it.
1
How many
Got
keys
it.
are there?
2. Damn it.
God.
He'll be like an Independence Day. Hello, boys. I'm back. But just ram right into him, and then you'll just see like a. And then that's the end. The end.
Yeah, just,
How it should have ended. Just death.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes, yes.
All right, so let's go
recast
into
this.
our recast. So the game came out in 1990. It was a huge success.
Huge.
So I would figure we would turn right around, make a new movie out of it. Nope. We had to wait 10 years just about until we got that. So we're talking 1990. We're gonna do Blair, Angel, Maniac, Paladin. Didn't
Yes.
figure out the fourth one, or the fifth one, so we'll just let that go because nobody else was nearly as relatively important. So let's start. Why don't we start from Paladin?
start Paladin.
Let's
I
start
like it.
Paladin.
All right.
Who wants to go?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I have 2 for this one. You touched on something which I thought was amazing. You said Hunt for Red October in space, and that
I said Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide in space. Okay, so I thank you for correcting
That's
me.
fine.
I
But
was
still.
thinking Hunt for Red October, submarines in space. I thought Sean Connery would have been kind of perfect, but I ended up going with Jeremy Irons. He's my actual casting
Jeremy
for
Irons.
this.
Okay. That's a good one.
But part of me kind of like would have loved to have seen like Drunken Maniac and
And I would love.
Sean Connery.
I'm
in
excited
this.
to see what your
All right,
who your
yeah.
Maniac is now.
Yes.
Then. Who do you have for Paladin?
Let's put Schwarzenegger in there.
I thought Schwarzenegger as well.
Oh.
Dude, 1990. He's
Yes.
coming off of it. Let's
Perfect.
put him
Yes.
as like. Let's
Oh,
put
yeah.
a name in there.
Yeah. I mean, like straight off, like Predator was just a year or 2 before this, right? Like peak
This is if he was
Schwarzenegger.
around
Oh, yeah.
Commando.
Yes.
Like this is him starting to come down. I also said to keep it French, Jean Reno from The Professional.
Yep. Oh, on board.
All right.
On board.
Absolutely
Yeah.
love
Totally.
him, and he would give it a little
That's
bit
great.
more.
That's great.
Credit, but
That's great.
Schwarzenegger, dude.
Yeah.
All about. Did you have a second one?
Pull it.
Or was it just Schwartzy?
Schwarzenegger was
Schwartzy.
okay, yeah. He
Let's
was the one.
talk about Maniac.
Oh,
1990. We need a loose cannon.
Loose cannon.
Who do we got?
Who screams loose cannon like 1990 Emilio Estevez?
Emilio Estevez!
Yes.
Yo!
Yes.
Okay, that's
All
really
right.
cool.
All right.
Loose
Free
cannon
Mighty
all
Ducks.
over the place. Jumps up on the table.
Yeah.
We got some
You know,
Gordon Bombay
he's got
in
some.
space.
He wants to see my balls. Yeah. Yes.
There you go.
No,
There you go.
but he would never run that blonde's line. You know, I see blondes. No. Tell me, Emilio. Who do you got?
Go with River Phoenix.
River Phoenix.
Not
As our
good.
kind of loose
Bad.
cannon maniac.
Not bad. I can get behind that one.
That was really good.
It's good.
I went Robert Downey Jr.
Oh.
He's just
Yeah.
coming off of
Yep.
some of his hottest
Sure.
teamwork
Mm-hmm.
and early 20s work. I think that could work.
Push
Probably
him up,
would
yeah.
slur as well. He was also coming on an uptick. A lot of drugs about that time. I feel like
Wing
this
Commander
been-
could have snapped him out of it.
or double down.
Or,
let's
you know,
make that
yeah.
He
movie.
could have nailed the. You know,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm
he
saying.
had it.
Blondes.
Oh, who'd you say?
I said
Try that
blondes.
again.
Blondes.
So
Did
good.
anybody have a
Oh,
second?
got it.
That was
No.
just it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was-
My one.
Let's move on
Correct.
to Angel.
I'm interested to see you guys have for Angel.
For Angel, I put Nicole Kidman.
All right.
that.
I like it too.
right.
Not
She's-
bad.
yeah, we didn't really have an Australian presence in there.
Nope.
Keep the accent, and she's coming off of some other interesting starting roles for her before she really makes it big. But I think it could be good.
Is that about Days of Thunder
good.
time?
Right around Days of Thunder.
I like it. Okay, very, very good poll.
So it seems like something that would be in our wheelhouse around 1990.
Sure,
If she
sure.
could do Days of Thunder, she
yeah.
could do Wing
Oh,
Commander.
totally.
Stacey.
Okay. So I have 2, but my favorite, my actual casting choice was Julia Roberts.
Very big at this time.
Angel.
I can't see her as Angel. Though.
No?
I'm also gonna have
Yeah.
to thumbs down that one.
No,
not
not
so
Angel?
much. No.
All right.
I think the problem was we didn't see a lot of personality with Angel, and that's Julia
Well, I
Roberts.
think she might
is
give her the personality.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Give her the personality. Take it
She'd
away.
be too charming as like a commanding officer. You'd be like,
Okay.
Especially like post Pretty Woman.
Yeah, totally,
Like,
right?
like she got right up to Commander in space.
Yeah.
Wing Commander
Wing
in space.
Commander. The Wing Commander.
Yeah, she is who the movie should have been about because it was named after her.
Actually, I wish they dropped the title card right when she said she was the Wing Commander. So, yes. Exploding would have made it so much better. Well done, Mark. Well done.
Very good. Who do
I
you got?
have 1990 Demi Moore coming straight off of Ghost. I thought she would crush this. She's tough. She's a great CO. Not too much personality. Like
Tough
she
as
could have been.
nails.
Yeah.
I could see that.
All right.
I could see that. Did you have a second?
I don't. Just it was Demi Moore.
Who was your second, Stacey?
I was considering Winona Ryder.
I could see Winona Ryder.
I can't unsee her from like Stranger Things right
No,
now. Just
yeah.
at 11 the entire time.
Just like smoking. It's like, where's my son? I had a second of Shannon Doherty, but the other ones are better.
Okay.
So let's just throw her out there. Final one, Blair, our lead. Who do we got as the commander in space? The half pilgrim saves
This
the
was
day.
very tough for me. Stacey, what did you have?
Was it?
It was a hard casting for me. 'Cause
Interesting.
He wasn't good. And I'm trying to, recreate that a little bit. So, yeah.
Oh, so you're trying to keep him in that kind of low.
I'm not sure.
Then
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
I think I have the guy for you, but I want to hear Stacey's
perfect.
first.
Who do you
All
got?
right, so I took it more. All right, let's actually try to make this good then. I guess Christian Bale.
Yeah, that was
You're
that's
damn right.
pre-Newsies.
No. Oh, it was a little bit pre-Newsies, right?
Newsies like 91, 92.
That is excellent. And actually, he would work well with the rest of the cast that I actually had here. So I kind of like that
All
better than
right.
my own choice. Well
yeah,
done.
that's really good.
I have two. I went right after, so this is coming right off of My So-Called Life. I have young Jared Leto.
Interesting.
I was looking for a heartthrob, right? Because the only reason FPJ is cast here is because he was
Heartthrob.
a hit with
yeah.
the ladies, right? So I wanted to cast in that vein. I also went Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe could have
Maybe
crushed
a
this
little
young, a little too pretty, maybe?
I think maybe a little. No, maybe a little too old.
I don't know.
Because I think it was early 30s. I don't know. He's looked the same for like 25 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He could be 80. I have no idea.
He is. He's a Jedi, isn't
Oh,
he?
perfect.
Yeah. Totally ageless. But I think Jared Leto, My So-Called Life, like that, just young.
We're talking heartthrob.
He's hunky.
You know who's hunky?
Who's hunky?
Joey Lawrence. Whoa. I think for this sort of dialogue,
Destroyed it.
Like-
Yes.
but to go for a little bit more tact, a little bit more of an actor, but also a heartthrob, Devon Sawa.
From
Casper, like most of the movies that we grew up with as kids.
Little Giants.
Oh,
Giant.
yeah, okay.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
thank
Gotcha.
you. Yes. Okay.
Devon Sawa's
All right,
the
that's
man.
not bad.
But
I like that.
I do
Joey.
like Joey Lawrence was a total joke.
Just no. I mean,
Whoa.
it's canon for me.
Yeah.
And they just get one whoa.
Recast it.
One whoa.
Right when they go, I'm your wing commander. Boom, boom, psh, whoa.
Or once
Slip it in
Yeah,
there.
when he makes it through the first quasar. Just,
Oh yeah. So maybe two.
On that 10 key, he can really.
you do it. He could do like the number code for whoa.
Do you think Freddie Prinze Jr. did his own stunt work on that 10 key? I don't know either. They brought in a stunt guy for that for sure.
They might have had to.
Right? No way.
Some pretty fancy.
I know.
Joey
Just
Lawrence's
gonna-
music video on Blossom.
Can we not talk about that?
Can you play that right now?
No, we can't. We're running out
Okay,
of time.
who do you got, Mark? Who do you got?
That was it. Joey
Okay,
Lawrence
that was
and
it.
Devon
Okay.
Sawa. But yeah, that was fun. That was good. I think we could have made a better movie. Definitely with Schwarzenegger.
I think he would have just cinched that
I liked
role.
all of our maniacs were pretty great.
Yeah.
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 That was good. Let us know
Can
who
we
you
just
would
change
cast.
it out every third?
Sure, why not? You let us know who you would cast
explanation, just-
in
Hey,
this Wing
maniac.
Commander film from 1990. Leave it in the comments down below, or find us on Twitter, or leave us reviews on iTunes. We would love to read your reviews live on air. So leave us 5 stars if you like us, 4 if you don't. Remember, the other stars don't work. So leave us your reviews, leave us your comments, leave us your thumbs up. Can we get some final thoughts on Wing Commander?
Dead and buried. Let us stay gone. R.I.P.
So we'll also do Game Over and Extra Life. So you give this a Game Over.
This is absolutely a game over. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Thanks for the memories, Chris.
I mean, looking at it critically, it was a big hot mess. I'm not gonna lie, I probably would watch it as a popcorn flick, like while I'm not really paying attention.
You would?
Just kind of let it play in the background
Okay.
and tune in every so often to see a mediocre space explosion, but no more.
Did you say game over as well?
No.
I enjoyed this more than I wanted to. I did. There was plenty wrong with it, but I agree with Stacey. If it's one where it's like, hey, you want to come over and watch some? Let's watch some crappy
It's a
movies.
great movie.
It's a great group
Something
movie.
you sit there and live tweet because you can have fun with it.
So okay, look,
In a
and doing
terrible
this is
way.
proof positive that doing anything with you two is more fun. But like, no, this old yeller, take it behind the shed, put it down. We need to be done.
In saying that, I will also say game over. The Wing Commander series is also gone. But if we try to do something with, why did I already drop the name already? Brain. The Star Citizen. But if we do anything with Star Citizen, put that in somebody else's hands.
Yes.
Or just release the main campaign as its own movie.
Hallelujah, brother.
Something
Hallelujah.
like that. Why not? So that's
Yes.
3 game overs. If you enjoyed Wing Commander, tell us why in the comments down below. In 2 weeks' time, here's something that we can all watch. It's very easy to find. We're going to be doing Indie Game the Movie.
Yes.
This past summer was full of amazing indie titles. Right now you can get Journey for free on PlayStation Plus if you have a PS4. If you haven't played that, one of my favorite games of all time. Inside came out this summer.
Absolutely.
Abzu came out this summer. The Witness is coming out on Xbox One in a few weeks. So Jonathan Blow going back to Braid. So yes, Indie Game the Movie. We're going to be covering that next in 2 weeks' time. That's September 19th. Join us then. But until then, where can the folks find you on Twitter to keep track of your projects?
You can find me on Twitter at Stacey Shuttles or, on Twitter or across the web at Nerds Doing Stuff, where I'm a nerd doing stuff. And if you're going to be in Long Beach Comic Con on the 17th and 18th, I'll be there with a booth selling all the stuff that I make.
Wow.
Yeah,
And-
so come say hi at the very least.
And I can say this stuff is very cool. You're going to want to find her. You can find me at Peter the Dees. Tweet at me. Let me know who you think should play Jonathan Blow in our recasting of Indie Game the Movie for next week.
We're going to do something new.
No, we're
he's
recasting
recasting
it.
it.
No, I'm recasting it. I want to know who plays Phil Fish and Jonathan Blow. Please tweet at me. I'm Peter the Dees at Twitter. I also host a video game podcast on iTunes called Pixel by Pixel.
Patrick, you're wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
You're a good person. Stacey, you're also a good person. Please don't feel left out in the dust. And you can follow me on Twitter at Mark Donica. A whole bunch of fun stuff happening at the network here on Popcorn Talk. We just did Jedi Alliance earlier today. I did with my new wife, Andrea. We talked about love and marriage in the Star Wars universe. It was a lot of fun.
Great.
And then on our sister site, AfterBuzz TV, a whole bunch of wrestling stuff, a whole bunch of Rooster Teeth stuff, and a whole bunch of stuff that is happening that we can't talk about. But you better follow us at the Popcorn Talk. You better follow us at AfterBuzz TV. Follow me at Mark B. Donica. But until next time, we will see you at Jonathan Blow's house, I guess.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.